This document is a screenshot of a travel and conference of a general ledger. And so we're going to highlight pay vouchers. And pay vouchers in a general ledger start with the initials PV. So we have PV right here for pay voucher. And so when we look at this pay voucher, as we go all the way across, we have this beautiful account string, but then we get to this very ambiguous statement of TUHS Revenue Cash General Revolving Fund. And so many of our pay vouchers, when we've been using credit cards or let's say some sort of reimbursement, have this general description that happens on many of our pay vouchers. And so it's very difficult to understand what happened in that transaction. This screen is going to highlight a particular purchase order that is located in our general ledger, and we're going to focus on this purchase order right here. And the purchase order number that we're looking at is purchase order 181193. And so this is a general ledger of what a purchase order would look like. But now we're going to look at what is the financial activity report, which will give us some greater detail on how a purchase order works. So this is how a purchase order works. So a purchase order is issued, and in this case, this purchase order of 181193 was issued for Albertsons, and someone came along and got permission. We encumbered funds of $150.97. Then later on, we have another purchase order entry that's there, and again, it's the same purchase order number. And what we see happening here is that there's actually the funds are unencumbered at that point. Why are they unencumbered? Well, when we come down to this next line, again, here's that same purchase order number of 181193, is that when we see what's actually happening is this. This is what was actually expended. So there's 3 steps to a purchase order. Step 1 is that, hey, I got permission to go out and purchase these goods with the purchase order number, and that's given to the vendor. Then step 2 is typically that you come along and you release the encumbered amount, and you release the encumbered amount because at step 3 you know exactly what the cost was, and the exact cost was $150.97. So in this case, it was obvious that the person knew exactly what they wanted to buy. Now, in some instances, this number could be a little higher because they underestimated, or this number lower because they underestimated. But the big idea is this, is that we knew ahead of time there were funds available for a purchase to be transacted. In contrast to a pay voucher, because in contrast to a pay voucher, when we go to this line, and so we're going to go back to this screen, and I'm just going to highlight, let's say, this pay voucher right here. This pay voucher was issued, and again, it was issued directly to Albertsons because someone went to Albertsons and spent $554.53. And in my opinion, it sure would have been nice to have known that ahead of time. So that way we knew to have encumbered funds to ensure that we could make payment on that. So where our district is heading towards is that we're heading towards purchase orders only. We want purchase orders, and we've done a lot of purchase orders with Albertsons Safeway, and so that's been a very good process. But every once in a while, a pay voucher shows up here. So not to lose sight as to why pay vouchers are problematic is that here's a pay voucher, and it's this general description right here with all these pay vouchers that does not give us a lot of clarity as to what's happening unless we actually look up that pay voucher.